Yin and Yang Unveiled. How to find balance every day. Have you ever noticed how sometimes your mind craves silence, yet your body longs for movement? Or how some days you feel full of energy in the morning, and others only wake up at night? There are moments when you feel soft, receptive, light, and others when you need to be firm, active, direct. And still, you are one whole being. So why do we feel so contradictory inside? We don't. You are living the oldest, deepest, and most transformative principle of the East, Yin and Yang. That symbol most people recognize, but few truly understand. This is an invitation to go beyond the image, beyond theory, beyond decorative esotericism. You're about to discover how Yin and Yang reveal the secrets to your emotional balance, your vital force, and how you relate, decide, rest, and act. This is for you who doesn't want magical answers, but rather wisdom that takes root. And yes, there is much more behind that black and white circle than you may imagine. Welcome to Axiom Sage. Here we offer timeless Eastern wisdom to transform your mind and spirit. Today our topic is just one, but it's everything at once. Yin and Yang, and how this invisible force present in all things can change the way you feel, react, relate, and live. Stay with me until the end, not just to learn something new, but to remember something ancient, something you already carry within. Now the listening begins. You've seen the yin-yang symbol, right? That sphere split between black and white, a shape that seems to swirl within itself, always in motion. But what few realize is that it's not a static image. It's movement. It's breath. It's a map of existence itself. Yin and Yang are the two principles that shape the universe. They're not opposites at war. They are complementary forces in dance. While the West taught us to think in terms of good versus evil, light versus dark, right versus wrong, the East offered another lens. Yin is rest, introspection, fertile darkness, deep femininity, the womb of creation. Yang is action, direct light, initiative, solar masculinity, manifestation in motion. These two don't compete for space. They feed one another. And you? You live in this flow, even if you don't realize it. Think about your day today. You woke up. Maybe your body was still in yin, heavy, sleepy, withdrawn, and slowly it shifted into yang, active, alert, outward facing. Now pause for a second. Notice there is no yin alone, no yang alone. One emerges from within the other. The act of waking up is yang rising from yin, and as night falls, yin returns, arising from the tired yang. You are made of this dance, and when you deny one side, imbalance begins. This is the root of anxiety, burnout, apathy, and disconnection. When the world demands only yang, performance, action, focus, productivity, and you refuse to rest, to breathe, to retreat, yin screams. And when you withdraw too much, avoid confrontation, never act, never speak, never assert yourself, yang revolts. Yin and yang are not esoteric ideas. They are keys to help you understand what you're feeling right now. Let me share something curious with you. In traditional Chinese medicine, illnesses aren't viewed simply as physical failures. They are energetic imbalances between yin and yang. Too much yang? One might experience irritability, insomnia, restlessness, impulsiveness. A collapsed yin may bring apathy, deep sadness, inexplicable exhaustion. So what is healing? Healing is rebalancing. It is returning to the dance. This applies to your body, your mind, your relationships, to your work life, and to whatever you are feeling right now. Breathe. Don't try to grasp it all at once. The wisdom of yin and yang is not imposed. It reveals itself, like the moon appearing in a pool of still water. Imagine a difficult conversation with someone close. You feel anger, the urge to speak, to justify yourself, to prove your point. That's yang erupting. But part of you also wants to listen, to understand the other person, to make peace. That's yin reaching out to reconnect. Now notice, if you choose only yang, you might win the argument, but lose the relationship. And if you choose only yin, you might avoid the conflict, but swallow your truth. What does yin and yang teach us? Emotional balance is not about picking a side. It's about knowing how to use both at the right time. This ancient wisdom teaches you something fundamental. You don't have to be the same all the time. You can be water, then stone. You can stay silent today and speak firmly tomorrow. You can rest one day and work intensely the next. That's not inconsistency. That's harmony. Yin and yang free you from the tyranny of forced consistency. You don't need to be always calm, always productive, always kind, always strong. You only need to recognize what's active now and invite the other side in to balance. If you're exhausted, maybe you need yang. If you're agitated, maybe you need yin. This kind of emotional intelligence doesn't come from Instagram quotes. It's cultivated through self-observation, listening, and inner practice. Want a practical example? Let's do one now. Close your eyes. Feel your body. Notice your breath. Is it short, fast, restless, or slow, deep, spacious? If it's short and fast, there's excess yang. Your body is trying to solve, react, fight. So here's the invitation. Bring in yin. Breathe slowly. Inhale to a count of 4. Hold for 2. Exhale for 6. Repeat 3 times. Feel. You've just let yin in. Gently. Now tell me, how many times have you ignored this internal call? How many times has your energy begged for rest and you forced yourself to push harder? How many times has your body pleaded for movement and you kept it trapped on the couch? This isn't about guilt. It's about awakening. You're learning right now to feel your energetic balance. This is one of the greatest forms of intelligence a person can develop. Have you noticed how society tends to celebrate only one side of the coin? We do it all the time, often without realizing. We celebrate yang, productivity, courage, leadership, action, strength, efficiency, but we forget yin. Listening, pausing, receptiveness, rest, contemplation, sensitivity. And this imbalance isn't just cultural. It's personal, it's emotional. It begins inside you. Maybe you were taught from a young age that showing vulnerability was wrong, that showing emotion was weakness, that crying meant losing control. And so, yang began to take up more space. Action became the remedy for everything. But then came the anxiety, the insomnia, the chronic stress, the fear of silence, because no one can live in action mode all the time. No one is only light. No one is only day. Night is necessary. Introspection is sacred. Yin is also wisdom. Now let's take a moment to pause and reflect. Close your eyes once more and ask yourself, what is active in me right now? Yin or Yang? You don't need to analyze, just feel. If there's hurry, tension, pressure, there's excess Yang. If there's sluggishness, paralysis, hesitation, Yin is out of balance. Breathe into that awareness and ask again, what does my balance need right now? This simple internal dialogue can shift your entire day. Now, imagine your week as a yin-yang cycle. Monday, energy, goals, focus. Yang. Wednesday, pause to check in with yourself and your body. Yin. Friday, productive morning, emotional rest at night. Yin and Yang in harmony. Sunday, contemplation, reading, silence. Yin. The goal here isn't to make another checklist. It's to reconnect with your natural rhythm. Your body knows. Your breath knows. Nature already does this. Think of the tides rising and falling, the wind blowing and then quieting, the moon waxing and waning. Yin and Yang are the rhythm of existence. And when you live against that flow, you suffer. But when you align with it, everything begins to fall into place. Now let's go deeper into your relationships. How many arguments could have been avoided with more Yin? How many opportunities were lost for lack of Yang? Let me show you. Imagine a couple. One partner speaks often, makes all the decisions, takes the lead. The other listens, stays quiet, follows. At first glance it seems balanced, but is it? What if the one who listens is suppressing their truth? What if the one who speaks is avoiding listening? This dance can be beautiful, or it can turn into silent domination. Balance only exists when there is awareness. In healthy relationships, there's flow, a time to lead, a time to follow, a time to speak, a time to be quiet, a time to hold, a time to confront. Yin and Yang take turns. You don't have to always be strong, nor always vulnerable. You just need to be present. Let's try an exercise. Think of someone you interact with regularly. Now ask yourself, do I tend to be more Yin or more Yang with this person? Maybe you're always the peacemaker, Yin, or always the one making decisions, Yang. Now ask, what if I brought the other side into our connection? What would that bring to our relationship? Maybe it's time to speak up. Maybe it's time to truly listen. Yin and Yang aren't about control. They're about flow. And if you look within your own mind, it also has polarities. Reason and an emotion, logic and intuition, clarity and chaos, action and contemplation. Each has its place. But how often have you tried to silence your feeling side, or dismissed your intuition because it wasn't practical? That's denying Yin. And the cost is emotional imbalance. Yin and Yang are the parents of inner integration. They say, you don't have to choose. You can be whole, feel and think, act and pause, speak and listen, shine and rest. This is the new paradigm, and it starts with a choice. I allow myself to live my dualities. I am not a fixed character. I am movement. If you feel this content is opening something inside you, it's time to breathe and connect with the mission of Axiom Sage. Here, Each video is a silent temple, each word a reverent offering of ancient wisdom. If you want to keep walking with us, click subscribe now, activate the bell, and join this community that doesn't seek formulas, but seeks inner truth. Now let's move to what might be the most important part: how to apply yin and yang in your emotional balance during crisis. Because that's when philosophy becomes real. When chaos knocks at your door, when fear grips your chest, when the world demands answers. Have you noticed how, in hard times, we tend to go into autopilot? When you feel anger, you explode. When you feel fear, you shut down. When you feel sadness, you freeze. These reactions aren't random. They are energetic imbalances. They show that one side, yin or yang, is taking over without making room for the other. Let's understand this clearly. Imagine you're facing injustice. Someone accuses you of something you didn't do. Your first reaction might be anger, yang. It's the energy of defense, of confrontation. You want to respond. Protect yourself, demand justice. But if only yang acts, you risk reacting impulsively, hurting, overstepping, severing ties. And yin? If you listen to yin in that moment, it might say, breathe, listen, look deeper. Maybe this person is projecting their pain. Maybe this isn't the battle that matters most. See the difference? Yang defends, yin understands. When both are heard, your response becomes wise. Another example, fear. Fear is a yin energy. It contracts, protects, withdraws, and it's important. It keeps us safe, makes us think before acting. But when fear takes over, you freeze. What's missing? Yang. You need that inner voice to say, go anyway. You need a step forward, initiative, movement. Anxiety, on the other hand, is excessive, disorganized yang. It's when your mind tries to solve everything at once without letting your body feel. Your thoughts race. Your breath shortens. Your tension rises. What's missing? Yin, silence, presence, surrender, rest. That's why yin and yang are so powerful for emotional balance. They work as a thermometer for your psyche. They help you name, understand, adjust. You become an observer of your inner states. And instead of being consumed by them, you begin to dance with them. Let's try that now. Close your eyes. Think of an emotion that's been visiting you often. It might be anger, fear, sadness, exhaustion. Now breathe deeply and ask, does this emotion carry more yin or more yang? Maybe it's a heavy silence, too much yin. Maybe it's a sense of urgency without direction, too much yang. Now ask, what is this state trying to show me? Maybe yin is asking for rest. Maybe yang is calling you to act. Neither is right or wrong. Both are signals. Wisdom lies in listening, and then responding with the other side. That way, you don't deny anything, but you also don't drown in it. You integrate. And you know what's most beautiful about all of this? This philosophy doesn't demand perfection from you. It invites you into a living relationship with your inner world. It says you can make mistakes. You can lose balance. You can fall. But you can also come back to your center, back to the point where yin and yang meet within you. And that point isn't far away. It's here, right now. Feel your breath again. Inhale, yang enters. Exhale, yin returns. Inhale, action. Exhale, surrender. This is the cycle of life, of the heart, of the universe, of you. Let's talk about another essential area: difficult decisions. How many times have you felt stuck in a choice? Should I stay or leave? Speak up or stay silent? Accept or refuse? Change or remain? Yin and Yang can guide you through that too. Want to see how? Yin observes, listens, feels. Yang acts, cuts through, declares. Before making a decision, call on Yin. Feel, observe, listen to your intuition, read the signs, tune into your body. Then call on Yang. Define, assert, say yes or no, let go of what's expired. This sequence is a powerful secret. It prevents impulsive decisions and also protects you from endless procrastination. It helps you choose with consciousness. In practice, it might look like this: a Yin day, meditation, listening, reflection; a Yang day, action, speaking, movement. When in doubt, ask yourself, what's missing here? More Yin or more Yang? That simple question can save you from burnout. And excess is what often makes us sick. Now imagine applying this to your monthly rhythm. You schedule time for retreat and time for expansion. You begin to respect your own flow. You understand that there are moments to pursue the world and moments to return to yourself. You stop comparing, you stop pushing, and you begin to live at your natural rhythm. And what if I told you Yin and Yang also help you understand other people? More introverted people are naturally Yin. They observe, feel, dive deep. More extroverted people lean toward Yang. They express, lead, move, and conflict arises when one tries to fit the other into their own pattern. But with this awareness, you begin to accept, and even more, you begin to value. Yin brings depth, Yang brings direction, and together, they build richer relationships. Look at the natural world. Have you noticed that day doesn't fight night? That summer doesn't compete with winter? That the seasons succeed one another with no rush, no guilt, no interruption? Everything in nature flows according to Yin and Yang. Spring is born from winter's retreat. Summer expands what blossomed. Autumn releases what must fall. And winter returns to silence. You are made of this same cycle, but while nature obeys, we resist. We insist on being summer all year. We insist on being Yang all the time. And that's when we lose harmony. Chinese wisdom says the human body is an extension of the earth, and that our inner cycles follow the rhythms of the sky. When you live without listening to your own rhythms, you start acting like a machine. But you are not a machine. You breathe. You feel. You pulse. You are a living energy field that needs to alternate between expansion and contraction, between action and rest. And there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, that's vital. Now think about how you live your days. Do you wake up and immediately reach for your phone, or do you breathe before acting? Do you stack tasks without pause, or give yourself space between activities? Are you living in a never-ending cycle of doing, or do you allow yourself to simply be? Observe with honesty, because asterisk, that's where you'll find the signs of imbalance. A body in excess Yang, short, shallow breath, poor sleep. tense muscles, irritability, acting before thinking. A body in excess yin feels heavy, constant fatigue, avoids challenges, gets caught in procrastination cycles, lacks motivation. The answer isn't to eliminate one or the other. The answer is to restore the flow. Let's talk about practices. Practices that don't require temples or complex rituals. Just presence, just awareness. Practices for when yang is in excess. 1. Deep, silent breathing for 10 minutes. 2. Slow walking, noticing your feet on the ground. 3. Listening to instrumental music with eyes closed. 4. Drinking warm tea, no distractions. 5. Journaling your feelings, no filter. These are yin practices. They restore introspection, nurturing, non-doing. Now, practices for when yin is in excess. 1. Brisk walking for 20 minutes. 2. Cleaning or organizing your space with intention. 3. Starting a project you've been putting off. 4. Saying out loud what you want to achieve. 5. Going outside and letting the sunlight touch your face. These are yang practices. They bring you into action, direction, energized presence. You can write these down. More importantly, you can start today. Let's now move into something more subtle. Your energy field. In Taoist tradition, much is said about qi, the vital energy that flows within you. When qi flows in balance between yin and yang, you feel clarity, strength, presence, intuition, purpose. But when it's blocked, the body weakens, the mind clouds, the soul goes quiet. That's why cultivating yin and yang is more than emotional balance. It's a path of vital expansion. Qi circulates through breath, touch, attention, silence, and movement. And this changes everything, because now you understand. It's not enough to just manage emotions. You must nurture the energy that sustains those emotions. And that, no one can do for you, but you can learn and you can practice. Gently. Let's try a reconnection exercise with your qi. Sit comfortably. Close your eyes. Place your hands over your heart. Breathe. As you inhale, say mentally, yang, conscious action. As you exhale, say yin, present silence. Repeat for 3 minutes. At the end, ask, how is my energy right now? This practice isn't meant to fix anything. It's meant to recognize, to give the body back its wisdom. Now imagine your whole day guided by that kind of listening. Imagine if every decision came from that balance. You'd rush less, struggle less, hurt less, and live more lightly. This isn't fantasy. It's practice. It's philosophy in action. It's spirituality lived at breakfast, on the bus, in a hard conversation, in your everyday routine. You don't need to live in a temple to live the Tao. You just need to bring the Tao within you. Yin and Yang are portals for that. They show you that every step can be sacred, that every choice can be an act of wisdom, that every breath can be an offering to balance, and that transforms. Let's return to the symbol, the circle divided between light and dark. Remember, inside each half there's a seed of the other. In yin, a dot of yang. In yang, a dot of yin. That's the key, because it shows that even in stillness, there's movement. Even in action, there's silence, and that you carry all the archetypes within you. You are the whole. You are the flow. You are the balance made possible. Return to the image of yin and yang. Now imagine that circle spinning endlessly in the center of your chest. It's not outside of you, it pulses within you, and with each breath, it turns. When you act in haste, it speeds up. When you shrink in fear, it freezes. But when you act consciously and feel with presence, it dances. That is the dance we are here to restore. Life doesn't need to be a straight line. It can be a circle, a flow between assertion and listening, between goal and pause, between certainty and doubt. And you don't need to pick one side forever. You just need to recognize, today my yin needs space. Or, now yang can lead. This wisdom shifts how you live, and it transforms the world around you. Imagine an ideal day, a day built with energetic awareness. In the morning, soft light, quiet, breathing, yin. Then, movement, work, decisions, yang. Afternoon, a pause, food, walking, yin. Evening, focus, closing, delivery, yang. And at night, retreat, music, reflection, yin. See? Yin and yang aren't rules. They are compasses. They whisper, this is the moment. This is the pace. This is the gesture. And everything flows. When you respect this, the body thanks you. The mind slows down. The heart aligns. Fatigue turns into rest. Anxiety becomes intention. Procrastination becomes listening. Nothing needs to be forced. It only needs to be observed and integrated. Now I invite you to an integration practice. Close your eyes. Sit comfortably. Place your hands in a prayer position. Visualize a dark blue sphere to your left, yin. Visualize a golden sphere to your right, yang. Take a deep breath. As you inhale, draw both into the center of your chest. As you exhale, feel them uniting in a spiral of white light. Stay here for a few moments. Notice what you feel. Notice what shifts. You just harmonized your inner forces. You can do this practice every day. 3 minutes. It's enough to remember who you are. Now imagine if this became your routine. Imagine each morning beginning with a touch of yin, and each afternoon receiving a spark of yang. Your body would stop fighting the clock. Your mind would open to intuition. Your relationships would stop being battles, and everything would gain space. Shall we talk about relationships? Yin and yang also show up in groups, homes, teams. Yang-type people love to decide, solve, lead. Yin-type people observe, hold space, reflect. There's no right or wrong. There is difference. And where there is difference, there's opportunity for complementarity. But only if there is respect. Only if there is listening. You can apply yin and yang to any relationship. With your parents, your partner, your co-worker, your child, just observe. What energy is this person in right now? What's missing between us? Do I need to speak or listen, hold space or act? Then respond with wisdom, not out of reaction, but by choice. This is the most important point of part 1. Yin and yang are not fixed traits. They are conscious movements you can choose. That gives you power, autonomy, emotional freedom. But the greatest freedom is not doing everything. It's knowing what not to do, knowing when to stay quiet, when to stop, when to go inward. That's where the deepest yin lives. And that's why Eastern philosophy speaks so often of non-action. It's not passivity, it's action without excess, aligned movement, living silence. Now listen closely. You can transform your life with this. Truly, you can stop fighting your nature and start living from your real flow. You can stop being a hostage to other people's pace and build your own. You can live with more lightness, more clarity, more balance, because this isn't theory, it's practice. And practice starts now. If this content resonated with you, if something inside you was stirred, subscribe now to Axiom Sage. Here, we don't offer quick answers. We offer silence, awareness, ancient wisdom translated into real life. Join this community of people returning to themselves and leave in the comments, "I choose balance." Let that phrase become your anchor. We now conclude the first major part of this video. You've discovered that yin and yang are not opposites, but complements. They're in everything: breathing, emotion, decision, action. You can recognize when one is in excess, and you can restore balance through simple practices. Balance is not perfection, it's conscious movement. You already have everything within you, and most importantly, you don't need to fight yourself. You can flow. Breathe, feel, observe. You're ready for the next step, because the symbol spinning in your chest is just beginning to reveal what you are. Maybe right now your breath feels different. Maybe something has shifted inside. Even if you can't explain it in words, there is a new silence within you. That means the energy has begun to move. And this is precisely where we begin the next part of our discovery. The invisible flow that animates everything that exists. In the East, it has a name, Qi. Qi is the vital breath. It's the energy that flows through your body, like a river running through invisible channels. In traditional Chinese medicine, Qi isn't a spiritualized concept. It's a concrete reality. It's through Qi that yin and yang interact. Yin is matter. Yang is movement. Qi is the flow between them. And when that flow is blocked, you feel it. In the body, fatigue, pain, stagnation. In the mind, confusion, irritability, anxiety. In the spirit, disconnection, emptiness, lack of direction. But when Qi flows, everything changes. You don't need to force anything. You simply let it happen. Now pause for a moment. Place your palm on your lower abdomen, about 3 fingers below your navel. This point in Taoist tradition is called the lower dantian, the center of your vital power. Take a deep breath and feel the energy gathering there. Inhale, expand the area. Exhale, let everything settle. You've just activated your energy core. It is from here that life begins to flow more consciously. The energy of Qi is intimately connected to the balance of yin and yang. When you cultivate yin through stillness, rest, nourishment, you accumulate Qi. When you express yang through action, creativity, decision, you circulate Qi. One without the other is incomplete. Only yin, energy stagnates. Only yang, energy scatters. The secret is to alternate, to honor both sides of your being. Have you ever paused to consider how you manage your vitality? Do you know when you're overextending, or when you're storing energy and not using it? Here's a simple practice in energetic awareness. Throughout your day, Whenever you switch tasks, stop for 30 seconds. Close your eyes and ask, am I feeling drained or expanded? If you're drained, perhaps Yang has gone too far. If you're stagnant, maybe Yin is in excess and needs movement. That small act of listening changes everything. You stop being a slave to stimuli and become the guardian of your own energy. Let's go deeper. Yin and Yang aren't just tools for emotional balance. They're pathways to spiritual expansion. Why? Because true spirituality begins when you reconnect with your natural flow. There's no awakening without presence, and no presence without balance. Many people seek spiritual enlightenment by denying the body, the world, and the practical life. But in Taoism, wisdom is embodied. It lives in the kitchen floor, the steam of tea, the silence of a gaze. And Yin and Yang are the invisible pillars of that temple. Imagine your life as a mandala in motion. At the center lies your dantian. Around it spin the cycles of action and rest, speech and silence, work and contemplation. And all of this forms your path. The Tao is not forced, it is followed. And Yin and Yang are the arrows that point your way. Now let's look at the greater cycles of life. Each phase holds a dominant energy. Childhood is yang, movement, curiosity, impulse. Adolescence is transition, overflowing yang, discovery of yin's limits. Adulthood seeks balance, action with direction, stillness with purpose. Maturity leans toward yin, wisdom, listening, depth. Old age is pure yin, retreat, contemplation, surrender. If you go through each phase denying its natural energy, suffering increases. But if you embrace what each cycle offers, peace blossoms. Wisdom doesn't lie in keeping your energy high all the time. It lies in recognizing, now is a time to withdraw. Now is a time to act. Now is a time to listen. Now is a time to speak. And this applies to every area: work, love, rest, health. Spirituality. Everything responds to this flow. Let's pause consciously now. Sit in silence. Close your eyes. Take 3 slow breaths and say mentally, I am flow. I am yin when I need to retreat. I am yang when it's time to act. And between the two, I am balance. Stay with that for a few seconds. Feel your body respond. Feel your heart slow down. This is your return point. There's something you may have never heard before. Emotional balance is, above all, a silent agreement with your own soul. And yin and yang are the language of that agreement. Every time you listen to what you feel, without judgment, you enter yin. Every time you assert yourself with respect and clarity, you enter yang. And with each conscious act, you build that pact. To live with presence, to act with clarity, to feel with dignity. But before you can live this in relationships, you must learn to live it with yourself. Have you ever feared being alone? Felt that discomfort in silence as if something were wrong? That's one of the most common signs of imbalance between yin and yang. Silence shouldn't be scary. Solitude shouldn't hurt. But we live so outward-facing, so stimulus-bound, so attached to movement, that yin feels like emptiness. But yin is not emptiness. Yin is depth. In Taoist philosophy, there's reverence for night, for water, for darkness, not as the absence of light, but as the womb of creation. You weren't born in light. You were born in darkness. You don't understand everything by shouting. You understand through silence. And that's why to truly transform, you must learn to descend, to stop, to listen. Yang moves outward, but Yin calls you inward. Let's do a practice right now. Close your eyes, breathe. Imagine yourself sitting at the edge of a deep, calm, dark lake. The water isn't dangerous. It's mysterious. It's embracing. Look at that lake as you would look at yourself, and say mentally, I'm not afraid of my depth. I honor the silence within me. I allow myself to not know everything. This is Yin revealing itself within you. Society shouts for answers, but your soul whispers for questions. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to be strong, clear, and firm all the time. You can be water. You can be mist. You can be night, and all of that is you? Now let's talk about healing. All true healing begins the moment you stop running from what you feel. And here's the most beautiful paradox. What heals you the most is not what you do. It's what you allow, allowing yourself to cry, to rest, to doubt. Yin is permission. Yang is direction. When the two unite, the heart finds its way. If you're on a healing journey, emotional, physical, spiritual, take this with you. Yang is the treatment. Yin is the space where the body reorganizes. You can take the best medicine, but without Yin, it won't work. You can go to the best therapy, but without Yin, it won't land. You can have the best tools, but without Yin, there's no soil to plant in. And Yin is cultivated in silence. Silence is the greatest healer there is. But not just the absence of sound, it's the silence of total presence. The moment you stop fighting, stop controlling, stop interfering, and simply be, that's where Yin lives, and where Yang is reborn. What about relationships? Most conflicts are born from an imbalance between these forces. You talk too much, excess Yang. You hold everything in, collapsed Yin. You demand without listening, or you listen so much you disappear. Harmony arises in the dance. One speaks, the other listens. One proposes, the other holds. One acts, the other observes. Then the roles reverse, and the flow is maintained. Want to bring more balance to your relationships? Try this. Before replying to someone, breathe. Feel what's active in you. And ask, is this Yang wanting to react? Or Yin avoiding conflict? Then choose the opposite. That simple choice can save relationships, because often what's missing isn't love. It's listening. It's pause. It's presence. It's alternation. Did you know that in some Taoist temples, the most important teaching is not in what is said, but in the space between the words? It's in the pause that the Tao reveals itself, in the silence between question and answer, in the space between wanting and accepting, in the pause between yes and no. That space is Yin. And it is what brings you back to yourself. If you've made it this far, it's because something in you has chosen this path, the path of balance, the path of listening, the path of unhurried wisdom. You've already understood that it's not about controlling everything. It's about dancing with what is. It's about feeling what's active and inviting the opposite to bring balance. It's about becoming whole. You know those moments when everything feels broken? When nothing you've learned seems to work? When the pain goes beyond words? When the exhaustion is greater than the will to keep going? Yin calls that a dark time. and Yang wants to escape it at all costs. But the day the Tao watches, the Tao says, every night contains a dawn, and this is when you need balance the most. When we experience grief for a person, a dream, or a version of ourselves, our first tendency is to collapse into yin. We shut down, we go silent, we enter the cave of feeling. That is necessary, but what makes us ill is staying there too long. It's forgetting that yang will come. It arrives as the first gesture of movement, the first ray of sun after the winter. It comes as a body that, though still grieving, chooses to walk, as a gaze that, though tired, still wants to see beauty, and that gesture is healing. But listen closely, healing is not linear, nor fast, nor magical. It is rhythm. It is yin allowing the tears, and then yang, wiping the eyes and saying, let's keep going. It is silence, then words, then silence again. This is the dance that restores you. Now, let me guide you through a transition visualization. Sit comfortably. Close your eyes. Imagine you're on a suspension bridge over a valley. On one side is darkness, everything you've lost, everything that hurt, everything you've left behind. On the other, the morning light, soft, not harsh. You don't need to run, just begin to walk. With each step, breathe. Feel the wooden planks beneath your feet. Feel the wind moving around you. Feel your heart, even if broken, still beating. That's your yang, and the bridge is the Tao. You are crossing, and that is enough. Now bring to mind a situation that feels stuck, something that feels like it's not moving, not changing, not responding. Close your eyes again and ask, am I insisting on yang? Am I afraid of yin? Then invite the opposite. If you're forcing a solution, pause. If you're avoiding movement, breathe and take a small step. Nothing big, nothing drastic, just a gesture. One gesture changes everything. And if the collapse isn't emotional but physical, if it's your body that's unwell, if chronic fatigue has taken over, you're not broken, you're unbalanced. And the body, in its silent wisdom, is asking for return. Return to rest, to presence, to non-doing, to yin. And when yin is restored, yang will come, with a new strength, with a new direction, with a new kind of courage, the kind born from the center. You remember the Danshan, don't you? The energetic center, 3 fingers below your navel. That's where balance lives. That's where your silent axis resides. That's where yin and yang meet and reorganize. Let's go there now. Close your eyes. Place both hands on that area. Breathe. Feel. Don't think, just allow. If tears come, let them. If a smile comes, let it. If nothing comes, that too is yin. And all of this is you coming home. In Taoist philosophy, this place is called the Sea of Qi, and every sea has tides, high and low, stillness and storm, arrival and retreat. You have tides too, and you only suffer when you fight them. But when you learn to float, even pain changes flavor. It doesn't stop hurting, but it no longer consumes you. It begins to teach you. You don't have to keep running. You don't have to be stronger right now or wiser. You just have to be whole in the present moment. Yin and Yang will take care of the rest, because this wisdom doesn't demand effort. It asks for presence. It asks for listening. It asks for practice. Speaking of practice, here's a ritual of reconnection for days of total exhaustion. Before bed, 1. Turn off the lights. 2. Sit on the bed for 2 minutes in silence. 3. Place your left hand on your heart. 4. Place your right hand on your abdomen. 5. Take 3 deep breaths. There's a wisdom that doesn't come from books. It comes from within, silent, circular, unhurried. It's the voice that says, you don't have to run anymore. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to shrink to fit. That voice is Yin. And at the same time, another one whispers, rise, move forward. You were born for more. That voice is Yang, and you who hears both. You are the Tao in human form. You are not broken. You are in process. And in that process you will feel extremes. There will be days of deep silence, and days of uncontrollable anger, days of overflowing love, and days of withdrawal. All of that is natural. All of it is Yin and Yang reorganizing. Transformation is not linear. It is a spiral. It comes and goes, deepens and circles back, and each turn is a new level of awareness. Perhaps now you feel a new space within you, a silence that is not the absence of sound, its presence. It's the sense of being exactly where you need to be, even without understanding it all, even without controlling anything. That is the place of true power, a place where Yin and Yang meet and disappear, not because they no longer exist, but because they stop fighting and become one. That's what the Yin-Yang symbol shows. The white within the black within the white, a continuous motion. No beginning, no end. It's a reminder that you too are whole. Even when you feel broken, even when you waver, even when you feel two sides within yourself, you no longer have to choose between one or the other. You can embrace both. Let's do that now, together. Close your eyes. Imagine yourself at the center of a sacred circle. To your left, a dark, dense, quiet energy, Yin. To your right, a bright, vibrant, pulsing energy, Yang. Both approach you. They don't fight. They don't compete. They don't demand. They bow before you. Because you are the center. You are the meeting point. And in that meeting, balance is born. Take a deep breath. Feel Yin surround the left side of your body. Feel Yang activate the right. Now, visualize the two energies weaving together at the center of your chest. Spinning slowly, creating a spiral of gentle light. This is your essence, your power center, your natural state. From today on, you don't need to run from silence anymore, nor get lost in urgency. You can observe, you can feel, you can pause, you can act with measure, in the right time, in your real flow, and that's what brings peace, not control, but integration. You are night and day, wind and stone, tears and laughter, emptiness and gesture. All of that lives in you. All of that makes you who you are. And when you accept it, you rest. Not because everything is solved, but because you are whole. If this part of the video touched something in you, if you felt seen, respected, embraced, if you recognized ancient wisdom within your own breath, then it's time to stay on this path. Here at Axiom Sage, every word is born for this, to transform gently, to guide humbly, to bring you back to yourself. Subscribe now. Leave a comment. I am yin and yang in balance. And come back whenever you forget, because this video is not just content. It is a portal for return. You walked, felt, paused, breathed. Now it's time to set direction, to align all you've learned, yin and yang, with the choices that define who you become. Because until now, you've learned to dance with your inner forces. But who is leading the dance? Who's choosing the rhythm you want to follow? Remember the danchin', your energetic center? It's not just a place of balance, it's also a tool of clarity. And you'll use it for the decisions that matter, the ones that define direction, purpose, relationships, and impact. Before you decide anything, job, move, breakup, project, breathe 3 times. Close your eyes. Ask your center, what needs more yin? What needs to awaken yang? Then feel in your body. If there's a rush to act impulsively, gives there's too much yang. If there's immobilizing hesitation, gives there's too much yin. Emotional balance gives you purpose clarity. It's not about making perfect choices. It's about making aligned choices. The kind that echo in your body, your soul, your breath. The kind that make you inhale slowly and exhale with certainty. Imagine you're facing a decision, applying for a new job, moving to a new city, saying or hearing I love you, even if you don't know how the other will respond. Before anything, breathe, feel the energy, notice any blockage, then inhale with clear intention, yang rising, exhale, accepting the risk, yin receiving, and only then dare to move forward. These are the pillars of an authentic life. The transparency of action, yang, the subtlety of listening, yin, the gentleness that unites apparent opposites. And this becomes a practice that builds a new way of living. Let's talk about the balance between spirituality and the material world. In the West, people often say, spirituality is renunciation. But in Taoism, it's the opposite. Spirit only blossoms through integrity in real life. You drink your coffee, care for those you love, work with purpose. And you also meditate, walk in nature, write, sing. Whatever it is, as long as it's done with presence. It's not about asceticism, it's about honoring all areas of your life. Material, emotional, relational, spiritual. All of that is yin and yang integrated. When you take care of your health, you nourish the body, yang. When you meditate, you nourish the soul, yin. When you care for others, you express empathy. When you withdraw to recharge, you listen to your essence. And so you live without fragmentation. You are whole, you are integrated, you are a walking sanctuary. And that integrity is what transforms the world around you. Because your silence brings peace, your smile brings lightness, and your balance sows seeds of wisdom. Want one last exercise? Close your eyes. Recall the image of the bridge over the valley. To your left, yin, pain, listening, silence. To your right, yang, action, speech, decision. Now, your heart decides, what kind of step will you take tomorrow? Without knowing the whole path, but whole in your step. That's how the Tao guides you. It doesn't hand you ready-made maps. It brings you back to your own echo. And you become your own guide. And what if you bring this to others walking the same path? The Axiom Sage community is just that. People who've chosen to live respectfully, deeply, consciously. This is more than enlightenment. It's collective presence. a community aligned with what matters, real life and inner connection. If this content reflected something within you, if you felt that a gentler way of living is possible, subscribe to the channel, join the community, comment below. My yin and yang guide my day, and share this with someone who needs to rediscover balance. You are now the living Tao, with yin and yang in luminous coexistence, and that gift you can carry forever. Breathe, feel, see the world with different eyes, because now you know balance is not an external achievement. It's a state of being, and that can't be taught. It must be lived. Axiom Sage. Timeless wisdom from the East to transform your mind and spirit.